Rainy is so apt to do, and I'm very poor at this.
I'm going to say ExG.
You're going to say ExG. I would like to see ExG advance as well. Now that I know that we can be on the same page, and I don't have to, like, just completely disagree with you, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon.
The reason why I say ExG is because I want to see ExG racing with Mana Surge in terms of points. I want to see ExG come up, and they have so many people trying over and over and over again. Tons of people very committed to participating. Right. To see them be rewarded with a first-place finish is going to be really important. So here it goes. Is it going to be Gengur or TheSeventh?
Gengur going with a Dragon deck against TheSeventh's Shadow deck. There's already a 1-drop in the hand for TheSeventh.
Yeah, we're seeing already kind of how this game is going to play out. Zell is going to obviously be telling of the combos that Gengur is looking to play.
Right.
We've got the Draconic Fervor in the mulligan is not the most fantastic, right? You really want an early point, an early ramp that will set up the better Sybil rather than the Sybil that just puts you up to 6 and we're not at overflow yet. You want 1 ramp at least before that.
1 ramp or some board clear as well. There's a lot of options that Dragon really wants. He does get to draw the Blazing Breath, but I think Zell for tempo here is really nice, considering that Catacomb won't be coming out until the next turn.
Yeah, and Dragon go first. I hate to harp on it so much, but it's so important.
It's very important.
So important against Shadowcraft. 2 cards on the board means that there's, you know, maybe a Blazing Breath with the Zell.
But if Gengar plays this Aelia, then that's the Prince Catacomb next turn for TheSeventh.
Interesting. So I think he's going to go for the Aelia.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There it is. And, you know, you win some, you lose some, right? Gengar is making a choice here. He's definitely saying, I want the ramp.
Yep. The ramp is absolutely valuable.
What are you hiding inside?
There it is. We'll see if this is the downfall of Gengar here as the board plays out. Necro Assassin in the hand, too, is actually a fantastic card to have in this matchup.
Well.
Yes, Wrath Drake. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. How we saw that was so valuable for, was it Les that was running the Wrath Drake as well as the Imperial Dragoon?
I can't remember, but it's absolutely, it's very strong in the Shadow matchup, where it can essentially just clear the board, doing 1 damage when it's played on 5 or 3 damage if it's played on 8. And this Aelia is going to be able to trade twice into 2 followers because the Goblin and Catacomb only had 1 attack each. So definitely getting great value off that, and when it's dead, of course, you get the Orb as well. Yeah.
And this is going to be great because on turn 5, you can trade Aelia, then play the Sybil, put yourself at 7 orbs, and get the healing if you need. And once that healing starts, especially because you're on turn 5, you can evolve the Sybil, you just gain so much value out of it. I think it's a very good position to be in. Just need to be careful of any kind of weird Necro Assassin situation.
Right, yeah, Necro Assassin is not a card we see too often, but it can be absolutely devastating when you put all your eggs into the Sybil basket or all your eggs into the Ouroboros basket.
Here comes the Sybil.
Yep. And he's not on overflow. You talked about this. It's real sad.
He can swing the Aelia.
Yeah, he could swing the Aelia. He's probably going to do that just to put himself on overflow. That's
there it is.
Real nice.
He's going to get the heal here.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about, right? You ideally want at least one instance of ramp so that you don't play that weak turn 5 Sybil. And in this situation, Gengar was able to get the good one, which changes the dynamic of it so much. Necro Assassin coming in, we were talking about how strong this card is in this matchup.
Yep. Necro Assassin and Lurching Corpse as well. I love that combo specifically. On turn 6, you can get rid of 2 followers just for 6 cost. But this is an Ouroboros play coming out for Gengar. He's been able to ramp successfully just a few times. And he still has Draconic Fervor as well. More ramp and card draw and healing as well.
And we're in the space where Enhanced Wrath Drake is a real thing.
Oh, yeah. Next turn that could be coming out because there's not a massive board. There is Zombie Party, not next turn, but the turn after that on turn 7 is going to be able to give him a sizable board. But this is an absolutely massive Ouroboros that I think TheSeventh is going to have to evolve to trade into.
And that's just going to provide Gengar more healing. He's got healing from this Ouroboros. He can continue playing it for direct damage. He's also got Draconic Fervor, which I think is becoming more of a dead card in his hand almost, but it will provide that healing.
And the draw as well. Don't forget the draw. That's crucial. Lightning Blast as well.
Lightning Blast.
And Breath of the Salamander, these are the options that Gengar really wants to have at this stage in his game when the Shadow player is on turn 6, turn 7, being able to clear off the board and keep himself topped up at a fairly high amount of health. He's on 14 health. That's with some healing as well.
Now the question is, right? Obviously, an Enhanced Lightning Blast is going to be great against Shadowcraft. You prevent him shadows, you get rid of everything, and you allow your followers on board to swing right now. It looks like it's going to be Rahab Breath and a little bit of a buff up for the Rahab. So I really like that play. Gengur putting a lot of pressure onto the 7th here.
Yeah, a perfect evolved Ouroboros going right for face is absolutely stellar. We're going to see if the 7th elects to play the zombie party this game. Ouroboros is looking like a real juicy target. Of course, Gengar's just going to heal up for 3 when it's destroyed. What
is the way to survive this? Is it Catacomb Necro Assassin, hope it hits the Rahab, and then evolve? Okay, it's going to be zombie party. Really? So he's
he's got Grimnir.
So he's got 9 damage.
He doesn't have the
board clear and the double ward.
And with Ouroboros in his hand again, I don't think that the 7th is going to be able to answer this.
Yeah,
and Gengar is going to be able to take this game.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, I think this is it. There's no good answer. With 1 health left and knowing that the Ouroboros was in hand, the 7th has to tap out. There it is. Picture perfect Dragoncraft game.
Yep, very great.
Exactly the options that you want, even the Tempo Zell, and kind of in much the same way as a card like Grimnir, right? You look at a card like Zell, and it's just, hey, it's okay, right? A 2-cost for 2/2 is always okay in Shadowverse, right? It's a very strong kind of stat line to have.
It's perfectly efficient in a way.
And if you get it early, you play it early. If you get it late, you play it late. You get that storm. You're in an even better situation.
So either way, you get tempo in the early game or the combos in the late game.
And that's how Gengur kind of positioned himself, was able to drop that Zell, get some board control by trading in, then drop the Ayala, get more board control by trading in, and buff up for that Sybil. That's a very strong early game for Dragoncraft, if the situation plays out like that.
The 7th is going to be able to go first in this matchup. We've talked about it before, but it's absolutely crucial. It most definitely determines who sets the tempo, who is making the decisions that the other player has to answer for, is who goes first. Specifically in the Shadow on Shadow matchup.
What is he running? This is very interesting. The Rabbit Necromancer archetype of Shadowcraft decks we saw were actually, I think, relatively successful. I really like the idea that you can both trade kind of in like Fangblade-esque, like a mini Fangblade, where you can like trade into a card, you lose a card, and the last word effect is do damage to face, but it kind of, there's that double effect of both like continuing to do damage to face as well as getting board control.
Right, you're kind of putting your opponent in a weird position. They have to trade into it and take the 2 damage, or they're just going to take 3 damage and attack. Unless you're Haven, and of course you've got Black Inscripture, and you can just banish that away.
Yes, Banish is very, very strong.
And a Soul Hungry Wraith in the hand for Gengar, not a card we see very often at all. It has a Necromancy effect where it gains Ambush. So it can be very lethal. If you've got the shadows to spin for it, though, that is.
Let's see, the 7th is thinking a little bit.
He's going to go with Grimnir as opposed to the Bone Chimera.
Leaves a Sergeant behind, and there's no Catacomb on 3 here for either player, interestingly enough. And so Shadow Reaper is going to be the choice, and got the 2/2 skeleton dude with the helmet.
Yep, he's got the followers on the board to buff up that Shadow Reaper, and the 7th is going to have to make a decision whether or not he trades in with the Catacomb. I think that's definitely going to make it real easy and feel real good.
He could go face here for lots of pressure, I think, you know what? Especially against the Shadow Reaper, I mean, we saw it last week as well being so effective. Against a Shadow Reaper, just start racing face, you know? Force your opponent to, on their turn, spend time trading into you rather than buffing up the Shadow Reaper on your turn, and then their turn comes and they can continue to buff it up, and then they swing face. And
especially with the Grimnir with 3 defense, and you see that your opponent only has 2 followers with 2 defense aside from the Shadow Reaper.
Oh, don't hit the Grimnir.
It's a Catacomb.
Pretty good. Means you only have to spend 1 to take down the ward. It's going to be the Evolve to do it, which I think is fine as well.
Yeah. Still, this is also a massive amount of face damage if Gengar chooses to do it, but that just kind of leaves the Shadow Reaper with 1-1. Even though it'd be a shame to waste the Orthrus's buff on the Spartoy to trade into the Lyrial Archer, for example.
Yeah.
That could be 7 damage if he wants to do it, putting the 7th at 13 health as well.
13 health, but 1 step behind.
That's right.
That's kind of the trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be giving the 7th a ton of shadows because you got a huge Catacomb off. There's a possibility of something like a Phantom Howl waiting. You're already at 13 points of health. Phantom Howl Evolve is...
pretty low, yep.
Yep.
Getting more in reach of those aggressive cards that Shadowcraft has in its repertoire.
Gonna throw away the Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
Saving the 4 damage for face.
Yep.
It's going to be a mix of aggression as well as defense. 3 1/1 tokens.
Now the 7th has got the Soul Squasher to take off that Orthrus and an evolved Bone Chimera to trade into the 4-2 Sergeant. Definitely seems like a good play. We'll see what he decides to do. He still has followers on his board as well to completely clear the board if he so chooses, and also get some face damage. So a really great position that the 7th has found himself in.
Gotta spend the shadows.
Mm-hmm. But with such a massive board and a Bone Chimera as well possibly coming out, he's going to be able to earn those shadows right back.
Interesting they didn't throw the Skull Beast in.
Yeah, and gain the extra shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Skull Beast probably is not going to last for very much longer. Either way.
Gets 2 skeletons out of it and continues to put pressure to face. 5 slots filled for the 7th. We're finally on turn 5.
And
What is this Wraith gonna do?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that's not the play to make. Just having a follower with ambush and leaving the 7th with a massive board already, and he's gonna go with that. He might want to evolve just to trade in.
And he will. He will do so.
Souls warm my broken heart.
Souls warm his broken heart. That guy's cold.
And this is interesting because the 7th, even if he had a Cerberus, he couldn't play it this turn because the Wraith has ambush and he can't trade his own followers in. So there's... And he can't destroy his own followers unless he had a soul conversion, for example.
He basically has to swing face, doesn't have board space to put wards up.
But Gengar already saw that there was a Necro Assassin in the 7th deck. And so he's playing a big risky game here, knowing that that card could possibly be coming out.
There's no way for him to gain board space, though. This is a big thing.
Yeah.
He can't suicide any of his cards. I think the next trial for Gengar will also be big. He has a few good options, but not the best, because he's being put very, very close to lethal here.
Very close. Definitely the next turn could spell the end for Gengar if this draw is not absolutely what he needs. Shadow Reaper, not going to be any defense.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the 7th, bringing this game to 1-1.
So now the situation you see is the Shadowcraft deck is out of the way. What is the 7th going to bring to try to fight against this soul-hungry Wraith Shadowcraft deck? Right. It seemed like there was not enough, the situation wasn't right for the Wraith, right? He kind of just had to play it because, I mean, what else are you going to do? The situation didn't seem right. Maybe on the next roll, he's going to be able to get a better set of cards, a better set of plays to set up for that Wraith, and we're going to see something more satisfying from it. And especially when you're not having to race the board as you are with Shadowcraft against Dragon, it might be real big. What is the best way for Dragon to remove that card? It's not really a great option, right? Blazing Breath, if you can target a different card and have it AoE across.
Yeah, on turn 6 with the Breath of the Salamander for sure.
And that's assuming that there's a different follower that you could even target, right?
But the Shadowcraft players are completely aware of that. And typically they choose to buff up the Reaper to have 3 defense just in case. To make that play.
He's got the Reaper as well as the Wraith, so there's a lot of different cards that are just a little bit too beefy for you to handle in a comfortable way.
The 7th had a Dragon Oracle in his hand, and he elected to mulligan and get rid of it. Real interesting choice there. I guess he wanted more board clear for the early stages of the game. And healing as well, because he pulled out the Draconic River as well as the Breath of the Salamander, and keeping the Grimnir. So electing to keep with options that'll keep him more safe, I think is a really great choice.
So this is interesting. Gengur going first has the 1 and the 2, and meanwhile the 7th has a handful of options, right? You've got the early Isla, you've got Sybil, you've even got Fervor, you've got early Ward, and then Sahak. So once you, on the turn after you play Sybil, you can Sahak to continue to try to extend your presence on the board.
I really like the Alia here, as opposed to the Grimnir. With Grimnir, you're just giving the Skull Beast a target to trade into, but you're keeping yourself safe from any amount of face damage.
The Shadow Reaper comes out of ambush and gets buffed up to 2/2. Orthrus to take down Grimnir, and that Shadow Reaper is getting more buff, but it's still too early on, and so something like Salamander would certainly remove it.
Salamander would remove it, and that's 2 orbs, and that doesn't.
But this kind of denies the ramp. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
So Isla is going to be the choice, and maybe Evolve to trade here.
Yeah, just to get rid of the Reaper.
Yeah.
Giving yourself ramp, you do leave the Orthos on the side of the field, but I think it's a valuable trade for the
Yes.
Dragoncraft to get that ramp.
Yes, definitely want that first ramp.
Because next turn he's got the Sybil, and he's going to be able to put himself in overflow as well.
Just to Cerberus, and has the extra Reaper to set up some kind of more intricate late game Reaper pump,
Right.
which I think is certainly more effective. Gengur choosing to play aggressive here. Orb into face.
Yeah, he's got the Reaper, and he's got Soul Squasher as well, and with 2 Evolve Orbs left for the 7th, Soul Squasher is definitely going to have plenty of targets, especially if he chooses to evolve the Sybil and trade into the Orthrus this turn.
What is this situation? Okay, so he plays a Sybil and he can get rid of one of the cards here. Probably the Cerberus?
Probably the Cerberus because he could still be evolved.
Yeah.
And the Orthrus is kind of stuck at 3/4,
Nope.
but he's going to go for the...
So he's going to heal up to 14. Cerberus is going to provide 5 plus 4 potentially from Coco and Mimi. He's 9 damage in hand. Soul Squasher. Gets rid of Sybil, gets rid of the healing as a side effect of that.
You can Shadow Reaper and Coco and Mimi on this turn as well. Evolving the Shadow
Nice.
Reaper, putting it on 3 defense, preventing any kind of
Breath of the Salamander, which we talked about a little bit. And I think Gengur smells the situation. He knows he's running out of options in hand, and I think he knows he kind of has to go. Oh, Rob is a draw here. Salamander would push you into just the Zell, and you can't remove the Shadow Reaper.
Yeah, Salamander and then Zell. Either way, there's still going to be a massive amount of damage coming out from Gengur with the Coco on the Reaper next turn. But the Ward, he's going to be able to evolve the Zell and attack with the Rahab as well.
So this is his way of trying to clear out. Cerberus and Little Soul Squasher to clear.
Yep, I think that's the play. And the Rahab's going to be up to 4 attack.
Oh, he's going to go for the Goblin and use a breath. Yeah, and I think that's fine.
Right. But still, that's a massive Shadow Reaper. We'll see what this draw is going to be. He's on turn 7. It could be a Nectar. It's going to be a Cursed Soldier. That's 4 damage directly to face.
Oh, no. No Evolve Orbs.
No Evolve Orbs. Yeah, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to go for face with the Reaper. He's going to have to take out the Ward.
What an awkward situation. The
Yeah.
ordering is just not quite right.
Yeah, there's still healing in the hand for the 7th with Draconic Fervor and also Ouroboros as well. But both players are completely gone from their Evolve Orbs. They don't have their Evolve Orbs anymore.
Gotta use the Shadow Reaper to trade in.
Wonder if the Cursed Soldier is going to be coming down. It is. He's going to be able to do 4 damage directly to face,
Oh, boy.
putting him in lethal range. But
This is tough.
this is really tough.
He cannot...
Sahakwiel is kind of a dead card. You don't have a neutral follower in your hand.
If he uses Fervor, he will barely survive, right? Because he'll take 5, then 2, 7. He'll be alive at 1 health. Sahak is not
With-
really going to give him
And
anything.
with a Coco as well, he could easily trade the Zell into the Reaper. I think he's
Interesting. And then use the Blazing Breath.
Blazing Breath. Still, a Phantom Howl with Coco could be enough to finish off the game. He's going to give himself a Catacomb as well. A really great draw there. And he's got Coco next turn as well. Oh, but double heal, double draws. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
Oh no. Draconic Fervor pulling double Dragon Oracle. The third Dragon Oracle and Lightning Blast. But still, that's 6 healing done.
Yeah.
That's got to feel really good. And he can go for face for plenty of damage, and he's got Lightning Blast next turn. So depending
What
on
is
what
a draw? It's a mummy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage here.
And with the Lightning Blast next turn, he can
He's got
completely
the
clear off
enhanced
this
lightning
board.
blast, and you're left with 1 shadow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh! Is there anything in the world at 1 shadow that Shadowcraft could pull that would
To do 5 damage directly to
do
face.
5 damage? I don't think there is.
3 Cerberuses? 3 Cerberi for 6
That's
damage?
true. He's already got 1, so he has to
Magically conjure up another.
conjure up another.
It's going to be the Lightning Blast, the absolute dream Lightning Blast for a Dragoncraft player
man.
to get rid of those Catacomb followers.
Oh,
Oh, and the
man.
Mummy, he's not going to be able to win this game.
Oh,
The 7th,
my gosh.
taking it away.
What?
Amazing.
And even though he had the double Dragon Oracles from the Draconic Fervor, he was still
it
able to
didn't
get
matter.
the options he needed.
The Draconic Fervor healing.
Oh my gosh.
This guy is playing an MMO right now. He is. He brought a balanced party composition. He had the ward as a tank, Ouroboros as DPS, and he brought.